Welcome to the Ironwood Gym. Today, we're going to go over training the chain. What is that exactly? That's the posterior chain. And if you go back 15, 20 years ago, the hot topic in strength conditioning, strength sports, was the posterior chain and developing and strengthening the posterior chain. So what is the posterior chain? What are we referring to when we mention the posterior chain? Most commonly, when people say this or coaches say this, they're referring to three muscle groups. That's the hamstrings, the glutes, and the low back. Those three groups of muscles are they're vital to performance. They're vital to the performance of the squat and the deadlift. They are vital to the performance of the clean, the snatch, even important for the jerk. Strongman, you can't get by without it, without a strong posterior chain. And even in your field sports, team sports, whatever you want to call them, soccer, football, the hamstrings, basketball, track and field, I can go on. The hamstrings, glutes, and low back are just a necessity of improving performance, okay? And also preventing injury, okay? And I'm going to go over a little bit of that as we go. I would also make an argument, a very strong argument, that the posterior chain should include more than that. Okay, it should include everything that you can't see on me right now. Okay, everything that's behind me. So if I were to turn around, which I won't completely turn around, but if I were to turn around, you would see my traps definitely be included. My lats would be included. Of course, working on down, you have your low back, then your glutes, and then your hamstrings, but also the calves. Okay, all of these muscle groups are very important to improving performance, whether it be in the weight room, on the court, or on the field. Why do I mention these additional muscle groups? And I'm going to throw one more out there in here in just a second, but why do I mention these additional muscle groups? They are your support system. Okay, your lats, due to where they attach, are also instrumental in providing stability for your spine. They provide stability for if you are benching. They are providing your base to bench from. They provide stability and and help improve tightness when you're squatting. They're important for bracing the spine and maintaining spinal posture in a deadlift, a clean, a snatch. Okay? And it just continues. If you look into different sports, the lats help provide shoulder health. They protect the spine. So they are very important and improve performance in the case of throwing sports such as baseball or volleyball, because the lats have a huge role in bringing that arm down as you're throwing. Your traps help protect the neck. Okay, they aren't just there for looks. They provide strength in the upper back, but they also protect the neck in sports such as football or soccer. Your calves, they are involved not just in that final push when you're trying to jump, but also in protecting the knee and injury prevention for the knee. So these muscle groups all play a very important role. Your hamstrings and glutes and low back are, of course, your motor house. Okay, that is your engine. Vitally important for sprinting, jumping, any form of deadlift. They are going to be the primary group bringing that bar off the ground and extending your hips as you come up. Same with the squat, the clean, the snatch. Extremely important in a clean and a snatch. But as far as that hip extension, all three muscle groups are firing, and you have to finish very hard and strong with the glutes. If you don't have these muscle groups well developed, all of these lifts will be down. Your squat will be down. Your deadlift will be down. Your cleans and your snatches will definitely be down. I'm not trying to minimize the importance of the quads, but I have to overemphasize the development of that posterior chain. It is just too vitally important to so many different sports, especially, and it's easy to see in the weight room, but even in a sport like soccer, your acceleration, your sprinting, or if you're in basketball, if you're trying to go up for a rebound, that is your posterior chain getting the most, or doing most of the work going into that jump or into those sprints. Your lats, which I've already covered, your lats, your traps, stability. Okay, very important for stability. A football player, when he's blocking a lineman, if he's blocking, he still has to have support in the backside. Yes, you're thinking block here is all shoulders and triceps, but that support in the backside coming from the lats and the glutes is going to really keep him from getting toppled over. Train the chain. I'm going to throw one more muscle group into this. Again, like I said, when you're turned around, what's back behind you? If I'm in my anatomical position, the triceps are also behind me. If you want to have a strong bench, a strong overhead press, a strong jerk, you have to have very, very strong triceps. And where are the triceps located? They are in the back of the body. Do they fall into that normal chain if you're just working your way down the body? No, but they are on the back side. They're on the posterior side. Everything in the back has to be trained. Okay, you have to train everything in the back and develop it. If you just look at two people walking down the street, one's bodybuilder, got huge shoulders, huge pecs, you can see his biceps, but then he turns around and it's very obvious he doesn't have anything in the backside. And I'm not saying a competitive bodybuilder, because they do develop their backsides very well. The next guy is more of a powerlifting style guy. Okay? He's training everything in the back. Watch those two. He's going to have the stuff in the front. He can't avoid it. Okay? He can't avoid having shoulders in the front or pecs because of all the benching he does. Or even some quads. But look at that backside and how well developed it is and how strong he's going to look if all that, the traps, the lats, the hamstrings, the glutes, if those are all well developed, he is going to have a much stronger looking physique. Now, I'm not here just thinking about looks. I am thinking primarily about performance. And I think with the things that I've just mentioned, you can't go wrong training everything in the backside. I would overemphasize it to a great degree. Okay, you will get the stuff in the front. Through normal training, you are going to hit your quads. You are going to hit the muscle, your chest when you're benching. You're going to hit the front of your shoulders when you're benching and you're doing overhead pressing. But it's the muscles in the back that are going to make everything work. Okay, it's the posterior delts that are protecting your shoulder. It's the traps that are protecting your shoulders and necks. Your lats are protecting your shoulders and your spine. Your hamstrings are the absolute engine sprinting down the track. Your glutes cannot be underdeveloped or overdeveloped. You have to have very strong and powerful glutes to have proper hip extension when you're jumping, proper hip extension in sprinting, proper hip extension in a clean or a snatch or a jerk. Okay? Your low back. It is involved in all of that. It is involved in hip extension to a certain degree, because you can't extend your hips without also extending your spine. You don't want to do all your work with your low back, but it is certainly vitally important. But even more so than just performance for the low back, but also spinal stability, okay? Yes, your abs and your obliques are definitely very important to having good spinal stability, but also the muscles in your low back. They assist very heavily in the deadlift, very heavily in the squat, the clean, the snatch, okay? For performance and for injury prevention. The low back helps maintain proper posture while you're lifting. You can't go wrong by training the low back. Just make sure you're training it properly. Your triceps, vitally important, as I've already discussed, for the bench, for the overhead press, for the jerk. If your triceps are weak, you can't lock out properly, whether that being quickly or driving from all the way from the bottom or from their chest to lock out in the bench press. In a jerk, they have to be locked out very fast, very aggressively, and very powerfully, or you're going to receive the weight here and you're going to have to try to press it out. You have to lock it out and lock in one motion. Your triceps are what's doing that. So, as I've stated, train the chain. Not just your low back, your glutes, and your hamstrings, but everything on the back side, from your traps all the way down to your calves. If you like what you're seeing here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share it with other coaches and lifters that you think could get something out of this. But always remember to be, sorry, I completely went blank there. Always remember to be in the pursuit of strength.